This is Jane Auma's 8th child, born in a slum called Kibera in the heart of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Jane is too poor to pay hospital fees, so all her children were born like this. Her neighbours help out as best they can, but there's no one here with medical skills if things go wrong. Jane's husband is not around for the birth either. In fact, he's rarely at home, and when he does turn up, late and unannounced, she says, family planning is far from his mind. Leaving Jane with the last thing she needs right now, another mouth to feed.
Si hatukulea hivi ni rahisi, yani kulisha mpaka atembee ni shida. Wenye naweza kuishi na watoto wangu wapate chakula vile wenzao wanapata, wavae venye wenzao wanavaa. Kama huyo kijana mkubwa niko naye, si alifanya 8. Hakuna pesa kumpeleka shule, hakuna pesa kumfundisha kazi. Sasa hako tu. Mimi naona watanilaumu kwa sababu sijawasaidia. Vile mimi nalaumu baba yangu, ingawaje amekufa na maiti, lakini naona watoto wangu pia watakuja kunilaumu. Mama kama angetupea mahali ya kujishikilia tungekuwa hivi. Sababu kama ni baba yao ndiye angeweza kuwasaidia na baba yao ndiye amewaacha. Na sasa yeye mambo yake ya kurandaranda inafanya anaacha watoto wake. Sasa huwa nakasirika.
Some days, Jane gets work at an illegal alcohol brewery where she's paid little more than $1 a day. Her husband sometimes leaves a little money, but for the most part it's down to her to keep her family alive. Carol Wairimu fares no better. She has 3 young children, no husband and no permanent job. Every morning, Carol gets ready to go out in search of the casual work she needs to make ends meet. It's a hand-to-mouth life. If she manages to find work, she can buy food. If not, she and her children will go to bed hungry. School books, sweets or clothing are luxuries, not essentials in this household.
And I hope you understand the problems of a single mother. She's the one to meet all the needs for her children, for herself. The problems of a widow, you see. She's the one to meet all the needs for herself and for her kids. You see, so you do find a lot of challenges in life, difficulties, problems, and we still survive. So we hope that one day God will come down. I usually keep on saying that. One day God will come and change the situations. Yeah.
Every day you wake up, working hard in the field. African woman, I sing for you today.
But for now, Carol must rely on herself to change her situation. So every day she braves the alleyways of Africa's most crowded slum, hoping to find a job washing clothes. Worldwide, more than 1 billion people live in slums, as many as 1 million of them in Kibera.
Every day you wake up, working hard in the field.
A majority of them are unemployed, meaning hundreds of thousands of people all struggling to survive.
Every day you wake up, working hard in the field. African woman, I sing for you today.
So however little she's paid, and regardless of the weather, Carol washes as if her life depended on it. In fact, it does. Like many women born to poor families, Carol has only a basic education to fall back on, and in a country where university graduates work as street vendors, she must take whatever work she can get.
What normally makes me so down is when I find that I don't have something in the house for the kids to eat. I don't have something for me to eat. And I don't have a hope of where I'll get that rent for the dad to come. Because the dad won't accept to tolerate you for 2 months. Every time he's at your door, knocking. He doesn't want to know how you are staying, what you have, what you don't have. Okay, I have these kids. I have to work for them so that they find that at their future, they'll find that their mom was working for them, you see. And that's why I told you that if we find some unemployment we can do so that we may educate these children, so that they may grow up being people who are blind, people who are learned, people who are educated, people who can stand for themselves, you see. So I can say that my future is most focused on my kids.
Carol doubts as much she can do to turn her own life around, but she's determined that life will be different for her children. If she can at least give them the chance of a better life, she reasons, then her own won't have been entirely in vain.
Kesho.
Carol and a friend are trying their luck in the wealthy Nairobi suburb of Langata, cold selling their services door to door. It's a typical day. knocking on doors and hoping that opportunity will answer. No luck today, so Carol heads back to Kibera with empty pockets. Carol has no one to fall back on for support. Her husband and mother are dead, her father is an alcoholic. Apart from her brother, who's unemployed, Carol's had no help from the men in her life.
I like a hard-working man who cares for his family, who minds about his family, you see. But there is someone that I do hate. There's a man who forsakes his family, you see. A man who is brutal, who is harsh, who is always land card, who is always fighting with his wife. I really hate such a man. Also, as they live in the world that we are living today, I can see that women are the ones who are working hard to make their families survive. So, I don't worry. In my case, I don't worry. They make me happy.
For many of Kibera's men, this is a typical evening. Back from work or job hunting, they spend their nights and meagre earnings in illegal drinking dens like this. Dennis Onyango has spent a large part of his life in Kibera and is a regular at this bar. Home-brewed alcohol is sometimes deadly, but it's also very cheap. Dennis fell into poverty when his father left his mother for another woman. Forced out of school because of unpaid fees, he ended up in Mombasa, where he found work as a DJ. Life was good until intertribal fighting forced Dennis back to the safety of Nairobi.
Sasa tulirudi sasa huku mtaani ikakuwa searching. Sasa huko ulikuwa shazoea pia kushika pesa nguvu, maisha ya maana, maisha pia ilikuwa ishaendelea mzuri, nilikuwa naishi kwa club, room ya self contained, vitu kama hizo. Sasa ukirudi tena mtaani, sasa una vitu kama hizo hazionekani. Sasa unapata mabesti temptations pia. Mabesti unapata kaa besti yako wa kitambo, ule mko alikuwa boy nyuma yako, siku hizi ni mtinti sana. Ameshikana, ako mzuri. Reason why vile manga.
Rockers ain't no rockers. Musical days, real garbage, eh?
Teriye nga marwa.
Him broke one skank on the goalie bank. Me say them broke.
Soon after he got back to Kibera, Dennis settled into a life of idle days spent smoking with friends and practicing his rhymes.
Every day. Rankinda dina shika maiki, kila kitu ninadu wengi watalia haki. Kila kitu natupa ni kweli, but fans come together close to me. Mtabaki buna really, girly walai. Say, after Kuchi, every time just like it. Sasa niko na mabeste wengi. Alafu mabeste sasa kwa maboja vidungi. So mchuma. Sasa ni pia kwa kani niligro kwa mkona gava. Mr. Budamu pale kwa polisi hapa dog section hapo Langata. Sasa ile kidungi ilikuwa niko common sana. Sababu buda kuna kamiga na acha kwa meza, vitu kama hizo. Sasa niko nimejua ku dismantle, ku assemble. Sasa sasa maboys akaanza niaje tuwashezi burungo. Sasa nikaanza guitar wax ya kuziosha kufanya ma cleaning nini. Sasa couple of hivyo sasa pia time pia maboys wamekosa partner, pengine wanataka kwenda biashara kaya mtu mwingine wako mtu tatu, pengine wende ukomesta hizo masaa ndio kama niaje twende hivi bana, itakuwa ni kitu ya dakika 5 hivi inaisha. unaenda una hit ya kwanza unapata inakuwa successful. Sasa hapo ndio inaongeza ya pili sasa na ya tatu. Alafu ya nne, alafu sasa unakuwa used to.
And the natty dread gang. No ball cannot sat up on the natty dread bandwagon outside. Do not sat up on the natty dread bandwagon.
With such high levels of unemployment, many young men turn to crime as an obvious ticket out of poverty. Many end up in prison or dead.
Bandwagon outside. Do not sat up on the natty dread bandwagon. Not at all outside.
Leaving women like Carol to pick up the pieces.
Yes, I have said that I'm a single mother, I'm a single parent. I'm the one who has to meet all the needs of the kids. Also, I'm HIV positive. The biggest problem in this case of being positive is that, like I said, most of the times you are very weak. You don't have enough strength to work, or you don't have enough strength to meet all the daily needs that you're supposed to do. And in this condition to survive, you have to work hard. You have to force yourself, even if your body is not all that okay.
Carol had no idea that her husband was dying of AIDS until he finally confessed to her on his deathbed. Overnight, her life changed. And having already lost her husband, she then lost the support of her family as well. Carol was living with her husband's family when he died, but they threw her out of the house when she told them that their son had died of AIDS and that she was HIV positive. Carol was left with no choice but to go back to her own parents' house. The reception was not a warm one.
My mom had passed away a year earlier before my husband. So I happened to stay with my father, who was so harsh, so harsh, because he could insult me with something that you went to a prostitution, that's why you contracted and this and that. And me, I knew my best that I got married to a man with whom I never knew that he was like this, and that's why I happened to got this. Yeah, so you found a lot of stigma in the up country. Okay, I happened to learn that in rural areas, there are some good facilities that are being provided to those people who are positive. And I decided of myself, okay, the big intention that I had is how I can regain my strength and how I can prolong my life. I could understand that there are some tablets that medicines that are being given to those people who are positive, and they are becoming healthy, they are becoming good and strong. But in the upcountry, you could not find any, you see. So I decided because I had lived in Kibera earlier, I decided also to come back in Kibera. You see, you find that most of my neighbors could talk well to you, could support you, could help you, could understand you in other way. But in the up country, it means a lot of stigma from your relatives, from whoever.
But reduced stigma and free access to antiretroviral drugs are just about all that's good about Carol's life in Kibera. If she succeeds in getting work 3 times a week, she's doing well, and even then the money's not enough. Often the kids fall asleep waiting for food that will never come.
Now 10 years since I became positive. No, I can be thinking that my time is now getting short. Maybe now is my time to die and whatever. So it's very hard. There was a time I had a very bad headache. The tools are also aching. These eyes of me are still in aching. Still I had a stomach ache and whatever. Now I was asking God, what is happening now? Me, I don't know. Now the pains are too much. No, I had decided even that I can even hang myself. Then at the birth of I hung my kids, and then I hung myself, so that if I die, and I don't want to also to leave my kids behind. So I have decided, so Not once. Because me, I hate pain. I hate pain.
But it's the thought of her kids and their future that gives Carol the strength to carry on. So she keeps washing and keeps hoping. In overcrowded Kibera, where many households use naked flames to cook inside their wooden shacks, fires are common. And given the lack of access, they're difficult to put out. Looters are drawn to steal whatever escaped the fire. There was a time when Dennis would have been one of them. But today he's come to help the shocked victims. Dennis is looking for a change. He wants to turn his back on crime and start afresh. These days he spends the morning cooking donuts, trying to earn an honest crust.
You live in love. I get our blessings from above.
He never felt comfortable with the life of a criminal, he says, and the memories of his former life have left their scars.
Kuna masindika ya robbery, ya nguvu, ina marape ndani. Pengine mnambaka mtu kama mteja ametumwa, shika. Vitu kama hizo. Lazima ikuhunt, lazima ufikirie. Unapata mtu innocent ameangushwa ukiona. Pengine ni mbuda, pengine ni mother. Unajua feeling uga kwa brain. Na wewe mwenyewe mtu jikompeaga wewe mwenyewe na yako wewe mwenyewe. Tuseme pengine unajua pengine sisi tumeenda kwa scene na uchali anafanana na sister na brother yangu sana ama anafanana na sister yangu ama cousin yangu ama best yangu fulani. Ni vitu mob. Na masini pia. Shika kuna zile masini unaweza undergo ama unajua hauwezi change kwa scene mko na jeshi kama una act. Hata kama ni mbaya hauwezi go against ukaambia mtu hapo unafanya mbaya. Pengine umechapilia mtu msee akaona manzi ni msupa akadai kumanga. Sasa hauwezi enda kumtoa kwa scene. Itakuwa ni blunder cause hata wale wana weakness yenu. Sasa unailenga. Lakini ni kitu na kuhunt watu wengi. Mtu kama mimi kuna zile masini ni hunt. Sasa lazima uzifikiria. Na unaifeel inabidi change.
But Dennis finds it hard to break links with his past. Here he gathers with former gang members to mourn a friend killed during a robbery. The violence of his former life is never far away.
Ule boy wa kwanza Kena. Huyu ni pawa yetu mtaani sana. Ni basi tumegrow naye, tumesurvive, tumeingia naye bush. Kisa ile tamaa kiasi, ma temptations. Sasa kila mtu pia enda searching na kila mtu ana ujanja wake. Sasa yeye mwenyewe I think I have a shortcut hivi. Sasa ile jeshi yako na groove nao ilikuwa ni ya maovu tu. Sasa yeye mwenyewe ndio alikuwa ni kama object kwa ile jeshi. Sasa obviously yani walimpeana. Ni kama tuseme walijenga naye kazi. Ni bonisha bonga naye mara mob sana. Lakini ile kitu alikuwa na hate maisha yake, unajua akishajipin, unajua maboy mtaani akishajipin hiyo kidungi huongeza karibu age ka 10 hivi ama mbao jail yako nayo. Ndio ukimwambia a change anakuambia nini? Mimi ni chali, mimi ni mbuda. Hata ile jina boy ako napenda, alikuwa anapenda jina mbuda, ashika jina kawaida.
Every day, more and more young men flood into Kibera in search of a better life. For a man committed to a new life, Dennis is still prone to the temptation of an easy buck. A fence divides Kibera from the rapidly disappearing Ngong forest. Wood is a valuable commodity, and Dennis braves armed forest guards most nights to cut trees to sell for firewood and house building.
Unajua bush naye si kuchagua ati ilikuwa ni rahisi sana, lakini ile consequences ya bush, unajua bush ukishikwa ile jail sentence yake ilikuwa ni shorter than ile ya robbery. Na ukitumia hard work sana bush, wewe endapo na get kitu ya maana kuliko ule mtu ameenda kusema kama mjengo. Sababu ule mtu wa mjengo ni mtu ameamka saa 11 ama saa 12 ameenda job, amerudi mpaka jioni sababu ya 150 ama so. Na wewe bush ukirauka branch moja inaweza kutolea so mbili. Na unaweza rauka upige trip mbili. Na hiyo within sema 4 hours ushamaliza hiyo kazi. Unaona? Which means within 4 hours umegain kaso 4.
Patrick Mburu also works nights.
Juu kitu ya kwanza nimelelewa hapa na sijaiona ubaya wa Kibera. Mimi mtu akaniuliza niambie ati Kibera kuna ubaya, siwezi sema. Ile kitu tunajua wizi ndio mwingi Kibera. Mavijana wengi ni majobless. Lakini ile kujifanya kuwa jobless, unajua job kama hii yangu ni mimi nimejiandika. Na mimi ni kijana. Hata hakuna mtu vijana anaweza jitokeza sema hata mimi natengeneza gari yangu.
Mburu empties toilets for a living. Most toilets in Kibera are privately owned, and residents must pay to use them. Toilet owners usually wait until they're overflowing before calling Mburu in to empty them. It's a dirty job, but the money is good, and Mburu says he's proud of the fact that it's a business he's built with his own sweat.
Mama yangu na baba yangu, unajua bila kusema uongo, walikuwa ni drinking master na drinking woman, yani watu wa kulewa. Kila saa ulevi, hata hajui mtoto amekula nini. Kujiruhisha tu na pombe, hakuna kitu kingine.
From a very young age, Mburu had to fend for himself, so he's used to taking opportunities wherever he can find them. There are so few toilets in Kibera that on average each one is shared by more than 1,000 people. They fill up quickly. At the same place that Mburu has dumped his load the night before, people head off to work while the desperate scavenge behind them. Most slum dwellers never finish school and end up trapped in poverty. And that's why Mburu is adamant that his kids will get an education.
Tuseme hapa kwetu Kenya, usipokuwa hujasoma hauwezi pata kazi mzuri hata kidogo. So mimi naweza taka kusomesha mtoto wangu kama saa hii, nimsomeshe na akayakijua ile kazi nafanya si kazi inastahili kufanywa ni mtu amesoma. Unaona? Yaani hata mwenyewe akaga chini hivi akakumbuka ile kazi nilikuwa nafanya, ile kazi yangu babangu alikuwa anafanya. Hii si kazi ya kufanywa ni mtu amesoma. Anaweza kuwa ametafuta kazi pali pengine kwa sababu nikiona kung'ang'ana nibebe vioo kabisa, nibebe kazi yoyote nitafanya, lakini sitaiba na nisomeshe mtoto wangu.
Abdul Kasim is another man who believes in the importance of education. Abdul works as a telecoms engineer, but puts most of his income into a free secondary school for girls that he started in January 2006. Primary education in Kenya is free, while secondary is not, meaning most kids leave school with only a basic education.
I saw there was no gender equity between the girl child and the boy child here in Kibera. And at that level, at that small level that I was, I thought like we should start making these girls do things that these men can do, and they can do it fairly better. So we started a girls soccer team. Then as the girls went through their primary education, because I started it with girls who were like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, they went through their primary education. Then most of them never made it to secondary. Then all the challenges, the bad things that happened within Kibera, saw some of them getting into early marriages, others just got pregnant. There was a time I lost like the entire striking force of my soccer team, and it brought into question the starting of another alternative, which was nothing but education.
The school operates on a shoestring and relies entirely on the goodwill of Abdul and a few of his friends. A donation just in means that Abdul can finally start work on the next classroom.
I'm always under pressure. I'm always under pressure because it's the end of the month. And as I go and pick my paycheck, I keep asking myself, what paycheck do I have for the teachers? No, this is one constant challenge that I always have, especially when it comes to the end of the month. So like last month, we got some little money to pay the teachers. As it stands right now, and it's the 30th, there is nothing coming up for the teachers.
"17-year-old Christina is just one of 48 pupils at Abdul's school, but her story is typical. She lives with her mother, father and 5 siblings in a one-room shack. Her parents' relationship is fraught, and Christina is often left alone in charge of the house. When she finished primary school, her father refused to send her to secondary school. Educating girls, he told her, is a waste of money. Staying at Abdul's school, even though it's free, is a constant battle.
My dad wants everybody to just drop out of school. He complains that you don't have money, he's sick, I don't know. I don't know why he don't want us to learn. Like me, he wants me to go and look for a job to feed my brothers, and I'm too small to go and just earning money now.
Against her father's wishes, Christina sets off for class, knowing that Abdul's school is probably her last chance of a better life. Christina has a hole in her heart, a serious condition for which she should take daily medication, but the cost of the medicine, $10 a day, is far beyond the means of her family. School, a job, and then a salary might just save her life.
I fear to drop at school because I think when I'll be just staying at home, men will be like, we have some girls here to play with, you know. So I fear to drop out of school because maybe I'll be a mother or I'll be raped or I'll do prostitute outside there. That's what I don't want to do. Yeah, it's sad. I don't want to, because I fear those things.
Good morning, class. Good morning, sir.
The teachers at Abdul's school are all unqualified volunteers, so the school is some way from academic excellence. But that's not the point. What the girls love most about the school is the chance to lead different lives.
My life has been changed since I came to this school because the way I look my parents, the way they are living, I don't want to live the same life that they are living, you know. I want to improve. I don't think it's a good thing girls to drop school, even if not girls only, even boys. We have to be educated so that for our future we may at least be good parents to our children too. Yeah.
Abdul has put not just his money but his heart into the school. If he wanted, he could knock down the school tomorrow, build houses and rent them out for a tidy profit. But instead, he puts the girls' education first.
With lack of proper education, probably this vicious cycle of poverty will keep increasing. And that is why the only way to cut down this vicious cycle is really to educate these children. Education is only replacing an empty mind with an open mind. Just need to make their minds open and show them that there are so many alternatives out there. There are so many opportunities out there. There are so many better ways of doing things out there.
Abdul could leave Kibera tomorrow if he wanted, but he thinks running away is not the answer. The problems of the urban poor, he says, are everybody's problems.
I don't see a reason why people should be living the way they're living in Kibera. And not only in Kibera, but in any other slums. There is no reason, there is no justification. If there was an equitable distribution of resources all over the world, chances are there would be a more peaceful world. Because this inequality is mostly what brings a lot around hatred. That's, as I was speaking about Kibera, if this issue cannot really be handled, at some time, this problem is going to come knocking into people's door. And those who think that it's not their problem, they might be surprised one day when the problem comes knocking on their doors.
Subjected to money, but you see, Jah make man make money, and for